This is Stephen Janis reporting for the Real News Network in Baltimore City, Maryland. It is another year of record homicides in Baltimore, and what that usually means to City Hall is more cops, more police, and more jails. But one man is trying to change that dialogue and stop the killing, and what he's using is a fast.
There were few traces of the typical media presence that accompanies press conferences about violence in this vacant lot in East Baltimore Monday. Perhaps that's because the topic on the agenda has little to do with cops, jails, and the usual litany of law enforcement additives, or maybe because it wasn't held at City Hall or police headquarters, or even in Annapolis, where Mayor Catherine Pugh was meeting with Governor Larry Hogan to address the recent surge in murders. Instead, a plea for peace came from a single man sitting under a tent in Baltimore's Rose Street neighborhood in the form of a hunger strike. His name is Kevin McCamant. He is a Buddhist and former prison psychologist who has been working with the community to stop violence through mediation for years.
The number of homicides, by my calculation this morning, a person has been killed every 25 hours and 20 minutes since January 1st of this year. And that's just horrendous.
The record pace of killings this year has taken its toll on him. But 2 weeks ago, one murder brought him to the precipice of making a momentous decision.
I had mentioned that, I had two people that I know, one who was killed, one who was severely wounded. But the thing that really sort of pushed me was when Charmaine Wilson was killed in front of her kids. That kind of horror takes things to a whole new level.
Which is why on this day, he's making a pledge to not eat until the violence subsides.
What I'm looking to do is to move the needle on these homicides. So we've had, like I said, by my calculations this morning, a homicide every 25 hours and 20 minutes, and I want to push that back to a homicide every 48 hours. If somebody does decide that they're not going to take a life, I would like them to come down here and tell me, and so that I can personally thank them. And I just am trying to reach out and touch the hearts of those people to get them to call a halt, even if it's a temporary halt, and then engage in some summit negotiations with one another to figure out a different way. There are alternatives, there are options, there are different ways that these beefs or retaliations, whatever the issue is, can be resolved without taking somebody's life.
It's a fast to engender peace that is not solely aimed at the mayhem on the streets, but also changing the dialogue that is often predicated on the premise that aggressive police tactics can solve the problem. I'm
going on this fast because it's the only thing I can think of to do, to say the lives of the people who are getting killed, right? The lives of the shooters, are worth it to me to put my life on the line, to get some reconsideration of this way of dealing with things.
It's a philosophy he has put into practice. The Rose Street community has been implementing a cure violence model for years, a strategy using mediation to prevent conflicts that often lead to shootings. It's an idea that has worked, says Danny Webster from the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Health, and should be expanded.
Our most recent analysis that looks at data through 2016, when we average the effects over all those different sites, our estimate is about a 27% reduction in shootings compared to similar areas that did not have the program. So that's very encouraging.
Which is why Kevin has vowed to go without eating until something changes, a decision that has unknown consequences for him, but a stand he says he must make to address the pain of a community too often overlooked.
How far are you willing to take this? How far are you willing to go?
I guess I'm willing to go as far as it takes. I'm trying not to think about that too much. This is not. I'm not playing around here. I'm not playing around here.
This is Stephen Janis and Taya Graham reporting for the Real News Network in Baltimore.